into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Got a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you say. Lock it in your pocket.
I really hate singing, guys, though. But if we don't, then it just seems really awkward and long that we're just sitting here swaying.
'Cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Okay, so we
It gets weird and circusy.
Sorry, guys,
one.
that was
Sorry.
probably the worst we've ever done.
We need Kristen.
I'm
clearly.
feeling a little off tonight singing.
Yeah,
I just feel like
forgot.
that was really awkward and we need to apologize to
Yeah, I'm
everybody.
really sorry.
But we have a great show for you. Welcome to another Pretty Little Liars after show. Our singing and dancing obviously needs improvement.
Yeah.
But we do have some things we're going to talk about tonight. It was a great episode. I'm excited to get into it. Of course, it is season 6B, episode 13. The gloves are on, and we kind of see why in this episode. I feel like we got so much tonight, and it's like opening the door to the rest of the season now.
Oh,
like,
completely agree.
Right.
yeah, I feel like the first few episodes, it was like an introduction to 5 years later, and now we're in the thick of it. And
Yeah, and I feel like the first couple episodes, we were all like, is this going to be whodunit season or like end of the series, or is it going to be like an A thing? And they were definitely clear tonight that it's going to be like an A thing, like still in the midst of a whodunit, which we'll get to later. I have thoughts about.
so many layers, but before we get to all of that, I want to have you guys introduce yourselves. Of course, Kristen's missing. She'll be back next week, but I'm Stephanie Wenger, and go ahead.
I'm Hannah Prichard, you guys, and I tweet from @TheHotShotDude.
Hey guys, I'm Heather Joy Smith, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram @HeatherJoySmith.
And you can always find us here streaming live on Tuesday nights on YouTube, and also always on YouTube. We look at your comments. We love hearing from you, so weigh in. And also on iTunes, SoundCloud, we're everywhere. Just get at us on Twitter, what have you. We love hearing from you, and the show is definitely filled with theories and everything that we want to hear from you. And also, we asked last week, so exciting, that people tweet us pictures of them watching our show, and we got a few great photos, and we want to thank you for sending those in, and keep sending them. We love seeing that you're watching us and hanging out with us all the time.
Yeah, so last week, as you guys know, I'm obsessed with piglets. So at Elizabeth, that's with 3 E's, everyone. She sent us this adorable picture with this little piglet, which I'm so obsessed with. I just want to like give it a little hug and like cuddle with it.
It's the cutest
It's
photo.
so cute.
I'm just
Thank
super
you.
jealous.
So I am so jealous.
Yeah.
That's what I told her. I like retweeted it.
Dustin!
And our favorite, Dustin Bradley @DustinB3350. He is watching us while preparing for one of his newest plays at school. So shout out to Dustin as well. Thank you guys so much for watching our show. And if you guys have a photo of watching our show or something that has to do with what we ask in the show, make sure to tweet us #ABTVPLL, and we'll show them to you guys.
Yeah, I like this. It's so much fun to see what you guys are up to, and we talk about so many questions on the show. It just weigh in any way you can. Tweet us.
Yeah.
We love the pictures, so keep doing it, and you can get really advanced and send us a video. That
Oh
would
my
be cool.
gosh, that'd be
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
Quick note too, we're not on chat tonight. We're so sorry, you guys. Next week we'll be back on chat, but you guys can chat amongst yourselves.
Yes, exactly, and we'll check out the chat afterwards and weigh in for sure.
Don't talk too poorly about us, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, we will read it later. For sure.
We'll be checking Twitter too sporadically throughout this, so if you have something urgent,
Yes.
you can tweet at us.
Absolutely. But with all that, great Pretty Little Liars after show business, let's jump into Pretty Little Liars, the show tonight. I feel like the big news, or at least the thing that jumped off the page for me, was the Caleb and Spencer hookup.
Dude, that was steamy.
Yes.
Like, it was super sensual. Like, the slow, like, the grabbing of the hands, the moving into the crossing of the fingers, then up her arm, then, like, brushing her hair off her face. I was like, dang, Caleb, I'm not even, like, sorry, but Tyler Blackburn doesn't really do it for me. But in that moment, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. It was.
I agree.
So
Wow.
I literally wrote down 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it felt like the Pretty Little Liars version of that. Like, we've never seen a scene like that before on this show.
It was amazing.
And I feel like it might be an indication of what they're coming with 5 years later. That they're a little more mature, they're ready, they're freeform.
Right.
There's
You know what?
sex.
We talked about
all the
this
sex.
last night on the Recovery Road after show, that now that they're freeform, the content's gonna get a little more mature.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of loving it.
Yeah, I feel like this was the first big time we've seen it get that, like, cross the line from, if you will, ABC Family into this, like, more freeform territory.
Well, and it's great for this show, too, because it being, like, a mystery, and these girls have all become, like, sex symbols. You know what I mean? In America, you know what it's...
In real life, they are.
Absolutely.
So I think it's, like, a great opportunity for them to really, like, branch out with that and make the show so much more sophisticated and bring in that crowd that has, like, grown up with them. I think it's awesome. And that Ring of Fire cover that they played during that.
Perfect.
Oh, my God. I was like, you know what? I'm about to call somebody over and, like, play that in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Nobody?
I got you.
No, amazing.
Hashtag AVTV PLL.
Yeah. Use Twitter that way.
Great.
It's good. It's good.
It's a new dating service.
Yeah,
by the
it's
way.
good.
Yeah, guys, I don't like
Get at
Tinder.
us.
Just hit at me this way. I'm just kidding.
But backing up into Spencer's storyline, how we got to that hookup was kind of interesting, that she is questioning the intentions of a reporter that's, I guess, covering her mom's campaign. And what did you think about that?
I still don't believe the dude. Him even being like, well, Mona's working for the other side. Yeah, okay, that's not great. Whatever, fine. I really don't care about that. But I didn't even believe that that was his only intention. Like, I agree with her.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's up to some shady business.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about all the time that, like, does a character read good or bad on this show? And to me, for whatever reason, that dude, before he even started being sketchy, like, saying things, he just rang as sketchy. Like, I think that's who the character is, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm also interested to go briefly back to the hookup. I just had one more question about that. Do you guys think that Hannah's gonna be okay with it, or is it going to destroy their friendship in some capacity?
I don't know about destroy their friendship, but when she was at Lucas's house and the screensaver came up, I think it kind of took her back to 5 years ago and those feelings again, and the fact that now Spencer has feelings for him. I think that is... She's not going to be okay with it, but at the same time, she's kind of given her permission now to go for it.
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And unfortunately, she has to find a way to be okay with it because she's engaged. You know what I mean? And that sucks. And I think it's going to definitely be weird between her and Spencer. I think her seeing them together the first time is what's going to be weird. Like, I don't think there's going to be weirdness between her and Spencer or her and Caleb until they're all together and she sees that first time that they have some sort of, like, PDA or something. And then that'll be
So are we assuming moving forward, Caleb and Spencer together, not just a one night
together.
No,
situation?
they're together.
Okay. I wanted to get the clarification. I agree. I think that moving forward, we'll at least see them explore that in some capacity. I don't know if it'll be for a while friends with benefits. Like, I'm not sure in what capacity that relationship will go on, but it will eventually come out.
Now, we keep forgetting about Toby in the equation, who says that him and Caleb still keep in touch because they're the ex-boyfriends club. So, like,
Where's he been?
Where's Toby been? So I kind of think that there's going to be a moment like in the next episode of Caleb going up to Toby and asking or saying something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Gilmore Girls, where there were he fought two boys on that show, fought each other, Jess, and and it I want that in the square. And just a fun fact, that square would be the same square.
Same exact square. Yes, it would.
Yeah, because both on the Warner Brothers lot, same Stars Hollow and Rosewood, same place, just to be totally clear.
That's funny.
So fun fact there. But I do want that confrontation in some way, because I think it'll be interesting to see how the story moves forward after that. But let's jump into, speaking of stories moving forward, Arya and Ezra. She makes quite the decision tonight to, I'm afraid to call it ghostwriter, but essentially ghostwrite for him, and doesn't even tell him that she's submitting it.
I mean, we kind of had a feeling after last episode that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
We all kind of assumed that, and obviously we got, that she definitely did. I feel like he can't really be mad at her because he did get paid for it already.
Yeah.
I just think that if he considers himself like an artist or, like a creative soul, like he's going to be upset that she took words, like essentially.
True.
Yeah. And maybe even upset that she would cheat in that way. Like it's essentially cheating. And
right.
Yeah.
But she sent his words though, right?
And then she is writing chapter 3 herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which that's not great, but I would like a copy of that book because I think it's interesting because I think, was it Emily who she was reading it with, and she asked, "Is this about you?" And Arya was like, "No, this is about Nicole, obviously about Nicole." But it's totally about Arya, and I think that's why he stopped writing it, because things happened with Nicole and he was writing a book about his ex-girlfriend. So like, what else more could he write about when he's like heartbroken and now feels guilty for doing that when the person he's dating is now gone?
Right.
So like, the thought of her picking up where he left off on a story about their romance and like creating, I don't know, I just think that's very interesting, but I think that may bring them back together when he reads what she writes after he's mad at her.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. And the change in perspective.
Yeah.
And that maybe he felt like their relationship derailed at some point and she sees it in a different light. And maybe in that capacity, that will, exactly as you said, bring them back together.
I feel like in this episode, we definitely saw that she still has feelings for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way she was talking to Liam and getting very defensive, like, there's no way that she would be that defensive over Ezra if she didn't still have feelings for him. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I mean, she jumped to his defense.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting because she's always been about, like, the girls, and we saw that in the first 5 seasons of the show, was that ultimately all the guys were side players, and it ultimately always came back to those 4 girls. And now I think that's also been a big change in this 5-year jump, is that you're seeing these relationships as you get older, like things change and relationships become more and more important.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like clear that her loyalty actually lied with Ezra, like when they were all standing in the apartment and he asked, and they were all probing him with questions and accusing him of things, and it was so nice the way it was done, and her just being like, guys, please leave him alone, just stop. Because that is the way I feel like a woman who loves a man would react, like trying to protect them, like, please just, he's going through a lot, step off.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm interested to see, though, how her decision, like, I think ultimately in the long run, like, come March at the end of this season, we will see them probably reunited, at least for a moment. There will be some tension there, but I think there's going to be some anger along the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to get their anger out first before they can be together.
Yeah.
Because we know they're always going to be together.
Heather and I, big fans of Arya and Ezra.
It
They
sucks
can
though.
hate each other and we'll be like, they're still getting together.
They will though. I feel like it's gonna suck though, because the girls have kind of drawn this line in the sand between her and Ezra and the rest of them, being like, you two need to figure this out. I don't know why you two are doing this, acting this way, responding this way. But then on Arya's side, she has distance from Ezra. So it's kind of like she has been yoked with Ezra and whatever is happening with him, but Ezra won't even, like, let her in.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be interesting to watch for Arya.
And that's a great transition into, I think, probably the biggest storyline of the night, which is still figuring out what happened to Charlotte and who killed her. So we know that, of course, last week Hannah deleted the surveillance video, and now the police seem a little more on it 5 years later.
Yeah.
You think?
And are able to realize that there's missing tape, which would have taken them, let's be honest, weeks in the past.
We got this in one day.
And they're now accusing Hannah's mom of tampering with the tape. And so what do you think about that? Do you think that they're going to figure out Hannah actually deleted it?
Yeah, I hope that Hannah comes forward.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to come out because they know the tape was deleted, not just air on the surveillance video. So it's somebody's going to have to take the blame for that.
Well, and not to mention, Hannah and Lucas blew that interview.
Wait,
So badly.
yeah, okay. So I hate that they cut it off right when he was like, well, there isn't an ice machine on floor 3. Okay, well, then what happened after that?
Yeah, right? They were like, okay, we're gonna get out.
I just love that ice brought them down. Like,
Right.
think about it.
Ice.
Like I went to go get some ice. Well, there's not an ice machine. Like, I was just like,
You should have just
what
said
a
water, stupid.
Just like the saddest way to go down.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna eventually force either Hannah's hand or somebody will. I feel
like almost at this point, Lucas is going down for it because he said ice.
Yeah. I was also I had a fleeting thought of Caleb actually stepping back in for her and jumping in to, like, help her because that's always what he's done in the past is help her. And
Well, Spencer was there.
yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to see that happen too. I don't think it's going to be Hannah's mom taking the blame, though. I think it's going to go somebody else, whether that's Caleb, because he has, like, the IT background. It was just, like, a fleeting thought, and I thought, that would be really interesting to kind of put him between the two girls.
Yeah. I could totally see that. Yeah, I don't even know what's gonna happen with it. To me, I'm like, I have no idea. But somebody's gonna admit that they erased it or whatnot. But it did kind of confuse me though because they said that somebody still saw the footage. So does that mean there is still a way to get a hold of the footage? Is there another camera angle? Is there a way to recover it? There was a short window between them, like, deleting the footage and that night. So I'm like, who, you know what I mean? Unless it was a security person. But I feel like that security guard, I don't know. I imagine there was a security guard on staff watching all of the cameras in a hotel. You know what I mean? They don't just leave the cameras going and everybody goes off duty. There's security all the time. So I imagine they have to bring in eventually somebody on the security team. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And did they have Lucas on camera coming in to the hotel, or was that after midnight? Oh wait, that was at like 3 a.m. Didn't they say like you had snacks at 3 a.m.? So I guess that would have been in the erased portion.
Yeah, because that's also how they got them. The ice would melt, which I was like, what a bizarre, like, again,
He should have just said, yeah, it melted.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But we didn't care that it melted, so.
Sure, yeah. I mean, at that point, you realize you're caught in lie. One of the worst police interviews, though, just on both sides, both the police doing the interviewing and Lucas and Hannah.
Oh, silly.
But I have to give it to Lucas. Such a stand-up guy. Like,
For real.
time and time again, he pops up on the show and...
Does anybody else think it's now finally Hannah and Lucas's time?
I mean, I think she's engaged, but I would
think
love them to...
Lucas wants it to be Hannah and Lucas's time.
I think it's time.
I agree with you, Heather, that I think Lucas definitely wants that, but I do think that, like, it would be fun for them to have, like, a moment in the sun. I don't think it's going to be a lasting situation if it...
I think it's going to be.
I feel like as much as Hannah probably doesn't want to admit it, it's Caleb, Jordan, Lucas. Like,
Right. But she's having second thoughts about, like, marriage. I feel like they've made that kind of clear. And I feel like she felt how good Lucas was and always has been towards her. And now he's, like, successful and like has all of these things, and you could tell in her little eyes that she was like, ooh, shiny
she was
things.
Digging that for sure.
Mini homes. And he looks good. They did a good job having him grow out that scruff. It definitely aged him so much.
Speaking of aging, did you guys notice that Ezra
is gray? I did.
I was like, wow.
Bring on the silver fox.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well. Do you think, I feel like that is probably a dye situation. I don't feel like.
You think?
I don't think Ian.
He's like 30.
Yeah, I don't think Ian.
No, that's an appropriate. I'm graying. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think natural.
Natural,
We dye our
for
hair.
sure. Yes.
All right.
I went back to blonde for a reason.
I like the.
Why do you think I got blonde here?
Cute just in the front.
Just in the front.
I like the honesty of our panel, guys.
Well, you know.
God, really, like.
Just trying to be relatable for all the older audience members. You know what I mean? Like,
For the 15-year-olds, I mean, I don't dye my hair.
Change is good,
It's
guys.
natural.
Be any color you want to be.
thanks,
That's what-
but gray.
Well, if you want to be gray, embrace it. That was like a hot trend for a moment.
For a moment, it was fleeting.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
So crazy that's all right. So let's jump back into the show and talk about this Emily storyline. We predicted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once she, it was it Hannah who saw her inject herself with something. We didn't know what yet. I wrote down IVF, obviously similar to like getting eggs, and then I also wrote down possible diabetes.
Me too. That's those were the two I thought also.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to be a surrogate.
Oh, well,
Well,
Close enough.
yeah. I mean, donating eggs, yeah, it's a similar hormones situation. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting storyline. Also that Hannah was so willing to jump in. So.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like I'm building with you, so I really could have held it on for my comment. But did anybody else, when she poured out that wine in that bush, I was like, hold up. That first episode, y'all met for cocktails, and I'm pretty sure you had a drink in your hand, so we need some continuity. Let's everybody rewind and check those tapes.
I actually was thinking
point.
the same thing. Did she ever take a sip? Did we see her take a sip
have no
of it?
idea.
Wait, who was the one that was throwing up in the bathtub?
What?
Wait, what?
One of the girls was, I don't remember who said it to the other girl. It was last episode. Someone said you were throwing up. Oh, Arya said it to somebody. Hannah.
It was Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah.
Okay.
She said you were throwing up in the bathtub, and Hannah
right.
says no, that wasn't me, and I think she said that was Emily.
But she still drank, right?
Right. So possibly if she drank and was on these hormones, maybe it made her throw up.
All right, well, guys, this is a good question for our audience to weigh in on.
We're on Twitter right now.
Yeah, we're on Twitter.
Hashtag ABTVPLL.
Did you notice? Did Emily drink? Well, guys, we want to know, and we're gonna go back. I'll check the previous episode and see what happened on that. But I can't imagine. I feel like Pretty Little Liars editors are so great that like can't imagine that being that big of a continuity thing.
I would hope so, but then there's that other part of me that's like, they were trying to trick us because they presented that she was sick and everybody would be like, dun, 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 you know what I mean?
But there's
be
lots
like,
of
oh,
medications that you're not supposed to
didn't-
mix with
Right.
alcohol.
But
Like,
she didn't drink, she could be pregnant. Like, yeah, I felt like that would have been like an, anyways,
Yeah.
regardless, it bothered me.
All right. Well, good point. We'll have to go back and check for sure. Yeah, I am excited to see how that plays out and whether her mom figures it out because it seems like her
Yeah.
mom has believed a lot of lies at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Her poor mom is like,
I can't believe Emily sent a picture though in like
okay, so I had thought of that in previous episodes though.
Yeah.
It's because like if you're gonna graduate from college, your parents probably are gonna attend your graduation.
Well, and that's another thing. I'm like, listen, okay, mama, you can't be so mad at her for getting away with all these lies when you clearly were not like present enough to go to her graduation.
Right.
yeah.
Like, what?
I actually tried to skip my college graduation because I was like, I'm just over it. I don't really care. And my parents were like, no, you will walk it. We will show up.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, okay.
I feel like that's the parent way.
Right.
Like it's 100%. You're like, like I did all this work and I'm just kind of done, and then
I just wanted to like get out of there.
like
yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, and then your parents are like, you're guacking, and that's how there's an auditorium full of people.
Exactly. So like for her mom to just not care and show up to a graduation, like where were you, Mom?
Yeah,
Like,
it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, interesting, but I wonder if this will become clearer to her because she seems now like more invested than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I also just ask, did anybody else think that Hannah's kimono was a robe? Like the entire time.
heels that she was in too
Yeah.
with it. I was like, what?
At first, when I thought it was a robe and they were just chilling in the room, I was like, working it, girl. Got your crazy looking heels on and like chilling in a robe, eating straight out of like an orange juice like concentrated can. Like I was like, yeah, you're really working it. I'm loving these vibes right here. And then when she started like walking around enjoying the day in that kimono, I was like, what in the world? That is not an outfit. That she is in a bathrobe.
She's
Also,
in fashion, Hannah.
It wasn't working.
they had very limited wardrobe tonight. It was like
Yeah.
one or two
Yeah.
outfits
Yeah.
a girl, and I didn't love anyone. Nothing stood out to me as
Nothing
being
stood out.
as being amazing. But again, tweet us pictures if there's an outfit you loved. We want to see it because
Yeah.
none of us are jumping at which outfit stood out to us.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed tonight was Arya's earrings for some reason. They kind of stood out to me. It kind of was, she had like the multiple earrings and the stars going on, so it kind of reminded me of her back in high school, but
yeah,
that was really the only thing that I noticed.
I noticed the juxtaposition of Arya in all like sparkles.
Yeah.
And Ezra in all black. I
Yeah.
thought that was a very intentional choice in mood.
Are you okay?
Sorry, because I nearly had like a seizure over it. But that just reminded me of them when they were at the hotel like bar or whatever, and he tried to order a beer, and clearly, and Hannah's mom, Miss Marin, came up and was like, "We can't serve you."
Why?
And he was like, "It's not like I broke a chair or something." And they were like, yeah, whatever. But they indicated or inferred, well, not inferred, whatever. I can't choose my words properly. But implied that clearly there was some sort of incident at the bar with him and like over drinking. And he must have gotten a little crazy. And I want to know about that.
Yeah,
Do we
me
think
too.
that was the night of, is that why he's not talking about that night?
Oh my gosh, that's good job.
I don't think so.
Really?
Because it would have been in the middle of the night. What bars open in
Well,
the
a
middle?
hotel bar is it's kind of always open.
Yeah, but not like...
I don't know, but I just wonder if like he's keeping quiet because he did something else.
Yeah,
like
acted
like
stupid.
That, like even if it's not that incident, if you're on that kind of path, it's
Yeah.
possible there was some other incident.
I definitely feel like there was an incident. I just don't think it was that night. I feel like it was prior to the girls showing up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting thought.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope we do get a flashback of that, though.
And then another, maybe the biggest reveal for longtime Pretty Little Liars fans tonight, I don't know, was this thing at the end of the episode that there seems to be still a black hoodie,
Yeah.
some creepy dolls,
Yeah.
These things are so gross.
and they're definitely watching the girls. We saw a surveillance, like,
Yeah.
thing at the hotel. We know there's surveillance video at the hotel, but like there's definitely seemed to be watching. What do we think? Is this the return of A?
Yep.
Something. I mean,
Sarah Harvey's part of it.
okay.
I just don't like her. Sorry.
Yeah, she's weird now.
She's so creepy.
But the only thing I decided that since we're doing this from the beginning this time, like we're getting a try again basically at figuring out who did it. I'm gonna start like really taking notes this time watching it through on like who was introduced when and et cetera, et cetera. And Lucas and Spencer's sister were the only characters from the past that were reintroduced in tonight's episode. So it could be one of them. As of now, is what I think. And as far as crazy Sarah Harvey goes, this is another question for everybody else out there because I may have bad eyes. But when she was in that dang spa and they started to like go in on that, they started on her hands and she did not have gloves on.
Oh. I'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I'll have to check that again.
She did not have gloves on.
My big takeaway from the spa was just how divided the group was. That Arya was so separated from the other girls. So I'll have to go back and watch those
My
details
only
again.
takeaway was that. And she even said in the scene, do you want me to take these gloves off? And I'm like, you don't have... No, they just showed your hands, you stupid fool.
Interesting. I'll have to check that again.
Sorry.
Yes, and tweet at us. Let us know. ABTVPLL. Use the hashtag. And I just thought it was so interesting, though, that kind of where this episode ended. I felt like we really moved forward quite a bit in the episode. Because I said 9 minutes in, I was like, I can't believe it's only been like 9 minutes. And we got so much information. But I'm excited, I guess kind of excited and kind of sad that they're going back to A. I'm very mixed on it.
Yeah.
Because I was excited for this new chapter, and it felt like I kind of liked the idea of a whodunit season.
I did too.
Like, that we knew what had happened, and then it was all going to go back and be this case all season long.
Yeah.
And
Now I feel like we just have too much going on.
Exactly. Like, I was fine with the idea, or just knowing that it was still going to be intertwined with A and everything that happened with A, because, you know, it should, and that's the way, you know, it has to be that way because of all of their history, and then something like this to occur with Charlotte. But to make it literally an A all over again is really actually bothersome. And
Wonder if the new A killed Charlotte.
well, see, but that's exactly what I mean. Like, that, it goes back to all those same things that it was with the entire series. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys had an opportunity to like reboot and be more like edgy and do this different kind of procedure. I give up.
procedural. You got
Thank
it.
you.
You got
Kind
it.
of show that's like kind of sexy and the girls are mature, and I don't know. And now I just feel like it's going back to that same like, but is this related to this? And is A the same person who killed this person, or the same person that's messaging them the same as that? And I'm like, really, y'all? And then to do it as like a symbol, like an emoji, like the red devil or whatever that is supposed to be. I'm like, come on.
Well, it's so funny that
Sorry.
you say Red Devil because many of you know that I do the Scream Queens or after show here, and I got a few tweets being like, oh, how do you feel about Pretty Little Liars and Scream Queens becoming the same show? I would yet to say that is true, but I'm starting to see more and more parallels.
Yeah. It just really bothers me.
At Lita Star said, I think you're right that Sarah didn't have gloves on in the spa scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm really, like, let me be clear. I'm really liking this, like, new time jump, whatever. I really totally dig it, but I just, like, I'm bothered by some execution of
What do you
things.
think about Melissa? I feel like Lucas is not the most likely candidate if it's someone from the past.
Yeah, I've always felt like Melissa's a little sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely talked about her on our list of A's in the past when
Yeah.
we've brought that up. Tonight I just felt like she didn't have a huge role tonight. It was just kind of agreeing with Spencer about how sketchy the reporter was.
Yeah.
And that she was concerned about this tape emerging again. And if she's A, why would she be concerned about
Yeah,
that?
why is she concerned? I don't understand. Or is she concerned for, like, Spencer and her mom's sake? But they don't even know, like, Spencer doesn't even really know what's on that tape.
Right. It could totally just be her pretending to care kind of thing, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
she might not even really care.
Whatever. It seemed like a little too melodramatic to,
Yeah,
like, not
totally.
be. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I'm trying to see if we've missed anything tonight. I feel like we've covered the show pretty
I
well.
think we have as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump into. We have a little news and gossip tonight.
Are
we gonna have
news
music?
and gossip?
No news and gossip.
There
We
we go.
got it. All right.
You didn't even need to do it. I thought I did a really great job.
You did. You did a great job.
I mean,
Thanks.
thank you for the fill-in.
No problem.
We always love
No problem.
love when you do that. So, this is just a quote from Marlene King, and I thought it was really interesting. We've talked a lot about how the show has changed over this 5-year jump, and she says, our audience are grown-ups. For 6 seasons, they were 17, 18 years old. Now, this is more what life looks like for the majority of our audience age.
Yeah.
And do you agree with that?
I
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like seeing that they didn't bring back all of these girls and they're all kind of at the same place in their life. Early 20s, a lot of people are in a lot of different kind of spaces, and that's what we're seeing on the show is like Emily's in a very tough spot financially, and then you've got Hannah, who seems to be doing very well. Aria's starting a new life in New York. I like that it seems like a true representation of kind of some version of 20s life.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't alienated either the, younger demographic, that, maybe early college or high school students who are watching this. I feel like they can still kind of get into it, and they haven't been completely alienated from it,
I agree. And they've like honored, because with a group of girls like that in high school that grow up together, they are like thick as thieves, and that's how those girls were on the show. But now bringing them back, like girls who have gone through college and gone to different places, they come back and they're all still friends and jumping in the same place, but it's very clear that they all have their own individual lives and individual like opinions and beliefs about things, and I feel like they've remained true to that. Like you can see that they are all friends, but you can see that they all have their like own little lives and own support systems and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see, and I think there's going to be more of this to come this season, all these characters get peeled back a little, and what's happened in these 5 years that have made them the way that they are. Like, we know that Emily had financial issues. What really caused those outside of, like, the trauma that she's been through.
Right. One more tweet came in from Alec Bell. He said that Marlene, Arthur Alec J. Bell. That's the full name, sorry.
Good job.
Great.
Marlene said that Charlotte's killer and the new A are different. The new A is avenging Charlotte's death.
Interesting.
I'm okay about it.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out, but I was perfectly okay without A.
Yeah,
like I was
too.
I was feeling like interesting because the girls kind of were becoming their own investigative unit, and that was really kind of an interesting place to be versus always kind of being chased by A and having to investigate because we're being chased by this entity. And so it felt a little different, but I don't know what the new A is. So there's a whole season to come on that, and maybe with that we should jump into predictions.
Yeah.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ
So hard on the show because I feel like I give predictions.
Right. You like have to, right?
Yeah. Any big ones jump out?
No.
I don't even know where to begin with this tonight. Obviously, Ezra's gonna figure out that Arya's been ghostwriting for him. I feel like that's a given in like the next couple episodes here.
I do wonder if he'll spend a minute in rehab, or like have to deal with the alcohol abuse.
Yeah,
that seems to be something that they're kind of foreshadowing.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs help.
Yeah.
He really needs help.
Yeah, and I think maybe in some ways that, and with him, maybe he'll realize that she's helping his career while he's getting the help, and that'll reunite them in some capacity.
Yeah, and I'm ready
With that in mind, I don't feel like Ezra really could be involved as like the A character now that that's being brought back, because it seems like I don't think he's capable of that right now.
Too much on his plate at this point.
Yeah. He's totally not involved.
No.
And I want to get a prediction on Caleb and Spencer. Forever couple or right now couple?
Right now. I think they're right this season.
Yeah.
I want to say forever a couple.
Forever couple. Like it. Okay. Divided across the table. Yeah. All right. And what about, because I want to know about Emily. Is she going to go through with the procedure? Is she dedicated to this? Or do you think her mom's going to force a stop on it?
No, I think she's going to do it because she even said that it makes her feel good to be able to give to another couple.
Yeah.
So I think so. Billie Jean Girl 18 wants to know, do you think the new A is an old friend of Charlotte's?
I don't know if Charlotte had many friends. We didn't really...
Yeah, I feel like if it was, it would have been from like 10 15 years ago at this point now.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe we just weren't
Maybe.
introduced.
If it's gonna be somebody who's avenging the death of Charlotte, it's gonna end up being like Jason.
I was gonna say in the De Laurentiis family,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than likely. Maybe do you remember the aunt we heard about at one point? Potentially the aunt. Just a thought. I'm trying to remember who else we've met in the De Laurentiis family. I'll have to
I feel
go
like
back.
she might have died.
Potentially, I have to go back and look at
It's
the
been so long.
the
We
De
have to go
Laurentiis
back and, like,
De Laurentiis family
rewatch
tree
things.
needs to get Also, if you have a family tree, send it our way.
Send it our way.
Yes, exactly. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us. The Pretty Little Liars show is always so much fun, and we love reading your comments. And thank you again for sending in photos. Continue to do so. ABTVPLL is the hashtag. And thank you, girls, for joining me. It's so much fun. And where can they find you all?
You all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Hotshot Dude.
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Heather Joy Smith.
And you can find me at Stephanie Wenger all over social media. See you all next week. Woo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.